Respondent. Let's stay in the US and speak to Nizar Farsah. He's a lecturer of international affairs at George Washington University, also in DC. Your thoughts right now on the killing of Yahya Sinwar and what it means for Israel's war on Gaza?
Well, definitely it's a very big blow for Hamas. As mentioned by Haaris, it does make the possibility of a ceasefire more probable. Israel could claim that it achieved its goal. However, I'm skeptical that this prime minister, Israeli prime minister, is going to take that. His position politically is much stronger now. And more importantly, his argument that you need more force as opposed to diplomacy to get results has been vindicated. So most likely, we're going to continue to, if not a complete war, we're going to continue to see hostilities, I'm afraid.
Nizar, if you can hear me, I just want you to ask what you think this also means right now during election season.
It might help Haaris, the pro-Palestine faction, whether it's Arab American or Muslim American or just Americans who support Palestine, have been calling for a ceasefire. So if she does manage to secure a ceasefire before the elections, I think that's going to give her the bump she needs, because she's the polls are very close. But we'll have to see if she manages to pull a ceasefire.
So, Nizar, just bear with us. I've just been having a technical issue right now. Just to conclude, if we could, chances for a ceasefire, chances for diplomacy right now, and where the next steps go?
Definitely the chances are higher. Hamas now, of course, needs a ceasefire. The U.S. can put pressure now on Israel. It has an argument that, well, now you've killed Sinwar, who was the mastermind behind the October 7th attacks. Israel is safer. But we'll have to, again, it depends on whether the Israeli prime minister is willing to go with that.
Nizar, I'm sorry to interrupt. We have to go and listen now to what Matthew Miller is saying from the US. Thank you so much. Much indeed, live there from Washington, D.C. Let's stay in the US Capitol and speak now to Nizar Farsah. He's the lecturer of international affairs at George Washington University. Welcome to the program. Good to speak to you again. Just your thoughts there on what we were discussing there with John Brain, that the US sees this as an opportunity, the death of Yahya Sinwar, to end the war. Why would they see it as an opportunity now?
Well, because Israel has hyped up Sinwar so much, and the war is about making Israelis feel safe again. So with the death of the mastermind behind it, the capacity to threaten Israel is greatly diminished. So the U.S. wants to use that and maybe even exaggerate the win in order to make it more difficult for the Israeli government to refuse to at least accept a ceasefire or temporary ceasefire.
Nizar, we, of course, are in election season, not long to go now. How does this intensity, to use the word that my colleague Nizar Sadawi used, the intensity that we're seeing in the run-up to the US elections, how does this possibly impact the vote?
Well, it should, because in general, the advantage that Trump has over Harris is arguing that the Democrats keep getting the U.S. Entangled in unnecessary wars, and had Trump been president, you wouldn't have had either the Ukraine or the Gaza war. So had the, let's say, if Sinwar wasn't killed, or if the war continues up to the elections, the appeal of Trump continues to be there. But if Harris and Biden manage to secure some sort of ceasefire before the elections, then from one side, it helps lessen that image of the Democrats, but it also can help Harris get the pro-Palestine vote, not only the Palestinians and Muslims, but in general also the pro-Palestinian voters in the U.S. To vote for Harris, because up until now they've committed not to vote for Harris.
Is this something that she really is going to do? I'm just trying to look for what she said and read it out. She said, Kamala Harris said that this moment gives us an opportunity to finally end the war in Gaza, and it must end such that Israel is secure, the hostages are released, the suffering in Gaza ends, and the Palestinian people can realise their right to dignity, security, freedom and self-determination. Does she have really the bandwidth, the energy to really achieve this before Election Day?
No, of course not. She's not going to achieve all of those. She's going to claim that we're on the track to achieve that. Now it's much more believable that a ceasefire is possible. So that's the narrative they'll be pushing in order to convince the American voters who are hesitant about Harris, or whether they're hesitant about Democrats being too hawkish or about Harris being not pro-Palestinian enough. This narrative is meant to help in this case, but they won't deliver anything for sure.
They won't deliver anything. We'll end on that. Nizar, thank you very much indeed. Nizar Farzak speaking to us there from George Washington University in Washington, D.C. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.